once a queen, I'm paving my way. Heartbreak, but I rise from the ash. Watch me dance while I'm making a splash. Ladies be women rising strong. Ladies be playing along. White chromosomes, so you so high. Cheating and scheming, they're behaving bad. Men behaving badly. Men behaving badly.
Hello, welcome to Men Be Behaving Badly. I am Devette B.
And I'm Ava G.
And I'm Travis Lee.
Hi.
Sorry, we didn't have our order down there.
We're all here. We're all here. So, some of you have been listening to the vocal stylings of me and Travis for like 9,000 episodes now on our other podcast. Make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. But now, Ava and I. Hi, Ava.
Hi, Devette.
How is Arizona?
Getting hot.
Yes, I love it. The brunch capital of the world is, and I decided we wanted to embark on our own little ditty where we are going to break down the odd, confusing, and sometimes toxic behaviors of humans, but specifically those men out there, the means out there in the world, and try to get to the root of why they act the way they do. But I want to be honest, we're not just here to shake our heads at them, right? Like, some of us love men, some of us love other people, and we all can be idiots at sometimes. But for now, we're going to focus on those men who identify as men and unpack the deeper systems of their brains. So we want to know how does white supremacy play into this, sexism, internalized racism, rape culture, and how those things help men relate to women today. What does this look like? How do forces play out in real time, from the small everyday moments to the biggest cultural flashpoints?
Wait. I thought I was just here to be a misandrist.
A misandrist, not a misandrist, girl. Oh my God, not that word again. Look, listen here. Ava called me earlier today talking about misandry, and I was like, "You mean misogyny?" She's like, "No, misandry," and I don't even want to.
The men's want to be included. The men's want to be included.
Okay, can you tell everyone what that word means? Because I can't. I literally cannot.
According to the Oxford English, it is the dislike of, contempt for, or ingrained prejudice against men.
Did the incels come up with this word?
I'm sure there's quite a few incels working for the Oxford English, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Travis, so Travis is here to provide.
Why am I here?
Provide commentary and help on us understanding this, because he is a cisgendered man.
I am.
And I like to keep one of those around at all times because I don't understand. And Travis is always honest with me about what his relations are doing.
Yes.
Travis, have you heard that word before?
What? Misandry?
Misandry.
Yes, I have.
I didn't know that word existed until you were in the pick and save earlier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's always an opposite for everything when you're dealing with gender-based monikers or anything like that. So if there's a misogyny, there should be an opposite in some way.
No.
I mean, because people
no.
just in the idea of maybe just being a completionist about language. So what would you call the opposite of this or something? Not necessarily that it's ever really
Ava,
a thing.
Ava, do you see me shaking my head? I can't wait until we have video.
Do you hear me shaking my head?
Do you hear me shaking my head? Because here's the thing. men are at the top of the food chain, right? Like me and you have a conversation about them men being the apex predator. Was that me and you talking about that?
We were talking about the United States being an apex predator
Right.
in our last episode, right?
Right. So,
But
what?
almost universally, almost across all cultures on this planet, men are at the top of the food chain.
And we're talking about cisgender men. We are going to get our language together, so please bear with us. In this instance, we mean cisgendered men, and by that we mean men who are identify with the gender they were assigned at birth. Now, I know folks are going to come with us because they don't want to be called cisgender, but listen, Ava, we gonna hear her type for a second. Can you pull up? Can you go in the Oxford Dictionary?
Oxford.
And pull up the definition of cis, because it's rooted in like a bunch of languages, I think, like Greek and some other languages, because it does mean what I'm saying it means. And so I just really need people to understand you're going to learn here, because we're about teaching and learning here, because I come from a long line of educators. Travis's mom was a social worker. I was a social worker, and Ava teaches people how to use numbers. So we teach here. And what did you find, Ava?
As soon as you type in cis, you end up with cisgender. So
yeah, because that ought to tell you something. And
takes
what
you
does
straight to where
what does it mean?
it means. But linguistically, cis means on this side of. So when we say cisgendered, you mean on this side of the gender.
Right, that you were assigned
At birth.
And specifically, when they say cisgender, it does refer to a person whose gender identity corresponds to the sex they were assigned at birth.
Right. And so, again, you are assigned a sex when you're born based on your sex organs that you present when you're born. Now, there are several different genders that I'm not going to get into right now because it's complicated. Because there's different, you have your X and your Y's, and there's different combinations of them that don't make you less of a boy or a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right. And if we're dealing with just the Latin roots of the words, so cis means on the side of, from the Latin prefix or whatever. And I took 2 years Latin in school. I'm sorry, it was a long time ago. But trans means on the other side of, or across from. On the other. So
that's where the word that we don't use, cross-dresser, comes from, because it's on the other side of the way you would dress for your gender.
if you're,
And I mean, there are men out there who are cross-dressers. They are not trans. I befriended a cross-dresser when I lived in Madison, and he was not trans.
Right.
Sometimes you just like pretty things.
And yes, and that man was very pretty, and he
Sometimes
had very
you just
pretty
like pretty
legs.
things.
Right.
Right.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah. And
But
so,
when we talk about means,
when on this show,
we mean
we are specifically,
men's.
if we don't say we are referring to anyone but, we are referring to cisgendered men. If we are referring to someone else, we will say it. So please do not try to come for us.
And we should really kind of leave it like that, because it's going to come up a lot in the course of like doing episode after
Right.
episode, and we can't make concessions and like explain
That's
it
why
every
I'm
time.
saying
this
now,
is about
this is
cisgendered men.
Yeah. So like I said, if it's not a cisgendered man,
We're explaining it now.
right, or a cisgendered woman,
We're not talking to you.
will say.
Yeah.
We specify.
We will specify. So, tell it to your mama, because I am as queer as it gets, and I'm not gonna be talking shit about nobody that is in my gang. Okay, without quantifying it first.
Yeah.
And that's the end of that.
That's my job in this.
And that's right. Travis's
End of that rant.
That's the end of that rant. So go tell it to your mama. On this show, we are like macro to micro. Okay, you will see it. It will be every week. We will go macro to micro, or micro to macro. We thought about going macro to micro, but it's more fun the other way.
You gotta start with the trees.
We gotta start with
Pull
the
back to
tinies.
the forest.
We gotta stay back. We gotta start out in the wild. Travis is rolling his eyes because he has no clue. No clue. Every week he'll have no clue. That's the fun part about this for us. So we're going to challenge societal norms, hold a mirror up to these patterns, and hopefully make sense of the mess. It's another make it make sense. And I'm and while we're
make sense of men.
Make it make sense of
If
men.
that's possible.
Why are their trucks so high?
Huh? Why are their trucks so high? Why do I need a step stool to get in your car? But you know what? My friend Rachel
But really, like, what goes into the psychology of like
having to get
a
up.
lot of similar type men
Yeah.
needing that.
Yeah, like I don't know. I hate it.
That's a good
I
question
shouldn't
for
have to bring a
another
stool
day.
along with me to get
I
in your
think
car.
that would be a really interesting question for like an entire episode to break down what makes a whole culture of men want to
put their cars up that high.
Risk an ankle.
Yeah.
Risk an ankle.
Well, my friend Rachel said because she has a car that's kitted up that high, and we had to go to Target and buy a step stool for me to be able to get into it. And I'm not kidding.
like you're an old cat trying to get on the bed.
Right, and it has something to do with like the dust or something, and living in the country. I don't know. Write that
Girl.
down, Ava. We could do a whole. I don't know. That's what she told me, but I just looked at her and was like, "We need to go get," because we had to use the
Some
hotel.
of it is for off-roading. Yeah,
right.
of course.
We had to use the hotel's step stool so I could get in the car. And then we had to go buy. Now she has this step stool for when I come if we have to
That
ride.
definitely sounds like a future episode. Why is your truck so high and the women who love them?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Please write it down. Wait, hold on. Why? I'm writing it down. Why is your truck so high? Why does my mic keep going out?
Why is your truck so high?
Why is I'm literally writing it down. Your truck so high, and the women that love them.
Yeah.
And also, why did and then we could talk about Carrie Underwood on that episode and why she went from slashing tires to singing at Trump's inauguration.
Good point.
I'm gonna put Carrie Underwood. We could talk about Travis Kelce on that episode.
Oh boy.
Because
fun.
like how he went from black women to Taylor Swift. Like, what is happening? Okay, so
Who do you date before Taylor Swift?
black women.
Oh, like exclusively?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he had the white man haircut because he went to the barber.
I never heard of him before he even.
Nobody
started
heard
dating
of
Taylor
Travis
Swift.
Kelce before he was dating.
I don't follow football anymore, so I'm not
dating Taylor Swift.
Travis doesn't watch the sports ball.
Not
He
anymore.
used
Not
to.
anymore.
No,
I used to be way into sports, Ava. I grew up playing a lot of sports, and I used to be
Travis was
way
is the
into
sports guy.
And then after I got out of prison, because I was still involved in it in prison, especially with like betting and stuff. I mean, it keeps your day to day interesting, And but after I got out, I don't know, my priorities were on myself and my life, and sports were I just lost interest.
Travis
completely.
likes to watch TV from the 80s and 90s like I do.
Yeah.
So,
Best TV.
yeah, the best TV. All right, so we're, as you see, some of this is going to be ridiculous because we're literally planning shows about Travis Kelce and
Well, I can talk
Kidded-
about it. I can talk about it.
kitted trucks.
Yeah, sure. No, that's it.
But that's literally like
That's
we
the whole
want to.
deal.
That's the whole deal because like this is cultural stuff.
Yeah.
Like we know that men are not. There's an issue with how men are raised,
Right.
and in comparison to how girls are raised.
You can take a small issue like that, But there's clearly a pattern of behavior, and what leads to that, and then go underneath, and what leads to that weird pattern
and then
of behavior.
and then how it plays out on the different levels of life that we live. So like we say out in the wild, so we just mean regular people, right? And then we're going to talk about like how in the media, but we mean media as like the people that we look up to or the people that we see that are like one step away from, like 1 degree or 2 degrees away from the out in the wild. And then we want to look and see how that plays out in our political system and the people who help make the machine run, right? Because it does, it trickles up. And then it trickles down because people think they can act this way because such and such is acting that way. Right?
Yes.
All right. So we are going to get started with this teaser. And I would like to say that I want to look at my notes because Ava said, "These men is crashing out." And I was like, they
sliding
what?
down a wall.
Sliding down the wall, crying and acting plumb fool. And so
they 5 minutes away from cutting their own bangs, girl.
Yes.
It's a whole thing.
Yes. So Ava, take it away, and I'm gonna just listen because this is great.
So just a tease, right? So there is I would hate to call it a trend. I don't want it to see a new pattern of behavior, but these men who fumble the women that they're with, speaking of Travis Kelce, fumble the women that they're with, the women who are arguably supportive, loving, and many times more successful, more famous, still choose these men, stand by these men, put up with cheating, lying, all kinds of carrying on, give them babies.
Yep.
And then when they fumble them, the men start to crash out. There has been an influx of diss tracks to their baby mamas. Is that a new thing? When did we start writing diss tracks to our baby mamas?
I don't have an answer.
In the last year, Offset has written a diss track about Cardi B. Iman Shumpert has written a diss track directed toward Tiana Taylor. I didn't know he was a rapper either, girl. And from what I heard, he's not. And DDG dropped a diss track 2 days ago about Halle Bailey. Talking about "Let Me See My Son." That he premiered on his Twitch stream.
Oh, here we go with the Twitch again. So he on the Twitch, crying because he can't see the baby.
Crying that he can't see his son.
Who has RSV?
Baby currently has RSV. But we'll get to that. So let's start with.
Y'all can't see Travis because he literally has no clue what we're gonna talk about. But he's already distraught, and we ain't even told the whole story yet. But I'm sorry, Ava. Go ahead.
Yeah, so let's start with Cardi B and Offset.
My ops link it up.
Who, have had a very public, ongoing relationship filled with infidelity.
Hold on, Travis. Do you know who Offset is?
No.
He is a member of the Migos.
Okay.
And he's married to our favorite rapper. Cardi B.
Your favorite.
And in the beginning was clearly the more popular, the bigger star, right? But now arguably Cardi B is definitely the biggest star. Mm-hmm. And after 7 years of marriage and 3 children, she filed for divorce in July.
She finally filed.
Now, this is not the first time they have been separated because of his infidelity. But this seems to be like the official end because she has filed for divorce. She has, and initially when she filed was very quiet about why
seems
she
like-
filed,
yeah.
what was going on, why their relationship ended, even though everyone pretty much knew that it was about infidelity. But Offset was never quiet. Almost from the beginning, he started with the tweets and online. Mind you, this is a man who has 6 children by 4 different women. He has 3 with Cardi. The youngest being 5 months old. So she filed while pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You know how serious a fumble you have to be to make a woman file for divorce while pregnant? And recently she's been seen out and about Valentine's Day with one Stephon Diggs, who is apparently a football player. And in response, Offset wrote a diss track called 10, where he said, "You're going to have to F about 10 more to get over me."
What the entire Sam? Oh my God! Like why? So okay, keep going because I have questions. I'm just gonna write my questions down.
Yes, he did, girl. Yes, he did. He also posted a GIF on his Instagram of a dog having hot dogs thrown at their face with his mouth wide open, with a caption titled "Girls After a Breakup Be Like." That he immediately deleted.
Oh my God.
Girl, stop.
Yes,
Stop.
girl.
Stop.
And then
Stop.
followed that up with a full-on crash out on IG Live.
So he just like what? He was just like just whining and crying and yelling and screaming, or
Sliding down the wall.
he had his Usher moment. He was too many hours, too many days.
He had a full on. But this has been an ongoing thing, right? Like he tweeted, "Stop capping to these people. Make yourself look like a hoe. She's a hoe. You have 6 kids by 4 different women." Okay. But now I think he's coming to terms with the fact. I think he's fully understanding the fact, like, it's over. And Cardi is unequivocally the bigger star. Like, when's the last time someone threw on an Offset track?
I mean, I just listen to the Migos regularly because, I mean, Hannah Montana.
But the Migos are no more.
Yeah, because one of them died.
Yeah, so what's Offset doing? What is he doing
Nothing.
other than making diss tracks to his baby mama? And rumor has it that he's almost broke.
Well, I mean,
She has been the financial support of their family and his family.
Of course.
His mama, his multiple baby mamas for quite some time. And she even eventually, after being poked and prodded, tweeted that him and his mama robbed her. So there's a lot going on. This divorce is definitely going to be messy.
Okay. Okay.
But child, what are you doing? What you doing?
No, like what? Like okay, so one of the things is like we want to really hone in on like what the issue is specifically, and this is like a issue of possession. Like he sees Cardi as his possession. Like this is not about just the material stuff. Like he wants to control the narrative about their family. Like I know from watching Cardi on Love and Hip Hop that she is very independent. She takes care of everyone in her family, like all of her family. And she has always said that is her job, is to take care of her family because of how her parents took care of her and her sister. And so, like, he is very, like, uncomfortable with her public persona, like very uncomfortable with it. And that is just her public persona, right? Like she doesn't look like that when she's at home. Like
her private persona is very much like a homebody.
Yeah, like she's
at
cooking
home and she's
cooking
like barefaced and
barefaced, like
doing all the wifey things.
Right, when she's at home. And I mean she does I mean she is so smart and so in tune and aware. Like she is never like I've never seen her so done up that I'm like, who is coming over and doing her makeup every day like that? Like, she be having on sweats and a t-shirt. And I mean, she has had work done, so it's not like you don't see her breast or see, but she's not what we see in the video, right? And for a man to attack that,
not be able to separate her,
Yeah.
the character Cardi B,
right,
from who she is,
from
the mom, the
right,
wife,
the wife, the just
family
human,
member, the human
Right.
being, Cardi B, and she
And
clearly
especially
makes
when
that
you're-
decision. That
Especially
that's
when he's
distinctive.
living with it.
Right.
You know, he's living
knows.
with it.
Right.
He knows that she's a different person
Right.
at home.
right,
But there's also, when you talk about a sense of possession, initially at the start of her career, he very much feels like he made her career. You know, her breaking out from a reality TV show.
Mm-hmm.
And he's had this kind of ongoing perceived attitude that, like, she owes him.
and
And he
I
has
don't see
taken
that
full
at all.
advantage.
I don't see that at all. Like, I as a person who found out who she was by watching Love and Hip Hop,
Mm-hmm.
that I don't see that at all. Like, I really don't. Like, what? No, stop. I just, Travis, do you have anything to say before we go to the next story? Or you
Do you want my thoughts on it?
like just yeah?
The whole deal. And
Yeah,
especially-
just this story.
Especially just, you know, I mean, I know who Cardi B is. I know who the Migos is, but like, you've done a great job of explaining the problem in the relationship. So, to me, I can't understand how you would go to social media and all over the internet, especially having a public persona like that, and ever talking about your relationship like that, or someone you ever been with like that. Like, it just, I don't have like casual relationships with people, whether it's usually like friends, and especially not romantic relationships. The current relationship I'm in, I've been with the same person for 22 years. You know what I mean? And before that, it was a long-term relationship, and before that, it was a long-term relationship. And like, I might not be friends with those people anymore, but I still don't sit and talk shit about them ever. And like, maybe privately to a very, very close friend, you know, but like publicly, what end does that serve? Like, what end does that serve? I don't go to social media when I get in a fight with my girlfriend. I handle it. You know, in terms of being an adult and being a man, to me, when you define that, is you handle your business, right? You handle your business, and it's also nobody else's business except for who you choose to share it with. And when you make it's somebody else's business very publicly like this, it means you can't handle your business, right? You can't handle your business, and so you bring it out publicly, and you let other people handle it for you and come up with their own decisions, which are very often wrong and separated from the truth because nobody knows the actual details, right?
Right.
So you're letting the public handle your business because you're incapable of doing it yourself as a man or as a person in general.
Yep.
You know, why else?
Anybody.
What ends are there to this other than also you said about his career that she's at the height of her
Views.
career and he needs the controversy.
Follow.
He needs the controversy. He needs to make controversy to make himself relevant because he currently does not have the Migos. He only has the fame based on past experiences. So he doesn't have like new shit coming out. So he's got to make new stuff and it's got to be filled with controversy because he needs to be an island in the sea because everybody's,
No man is an island.
you know, right? That's my thoughts on it. It disgusts me to see somebody dragging themselves out, but I see what what ends is this, you know? Because I would never do something like that publicly to
It's so
anybody that
gross.
I've dated, especially not one of the mother of my children. Like, what the fuck you thinking?
He said
What
it.
the fuck
The
you thinking?
fuck. The fuck.
Well, you know,
Well,
to segue
Travis.
into public crashing out, because that seems to be the trend. Because now we have
Yeah.
Iman Shumpert and Tiana
Iman.
Taylor.
do you know who Iman Shumpert is and Tiana Taylor?
No idea.
Okay.
So Tiana Taylor is all the things, right?
she's
She's an
everything.
actress. She's a singer. She's a dancer.
What would I know from? Is there anything I would know
Tiana
from?
Taylor was in the movie where the boy found out at the end he got kidnapped from the schoolyard and she wasn't his mom.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
It's an A24 movie. Come on, Travis.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. What
She's
else?
been making some moves independent,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
she's had some music out. She
Yeah.
has
She's very slender, dark-skinned woman.
Yeah.
She
stunning.
just had a picture, that famous picture that came out with Aaron Pierre. That's Mufasa. And
that's the reason for the crash out.
that's the reason for the crash out.
The current crash out. So Iman Shumpert was a NBA player. He's currently retired. And Tiana Taylor,
And
singer,
that's
dancer,
Irish.
actress, all the things. And they had a 10-year relationship. They have
Yes.
2 children
They have
together.
2 children.
And a
Jimmy
reality
and
show at one
Rue.
point. Yes, and a reality show at one point. And their relationship has been interesting, right? Because there has been a lot of, well, I'll let you talk about that, right? Like their relationship was very much billed as it was like a very open.
Yeah, they had an open relationship. They had an open, non-monogamous relationship. And she's saying, let me talk about it because my marriage was open and non-monogamous. And ours was fine. We ain't had no problems. That's not
With
even-
that part.
With that part, right. Yeah, that's not why our marriage broke up at all. And so the thing about having non-monogamous relationships is you have to communicate your needs and wants from the beginning. There is a book that I recommend every couple read called The Ethical Slut before you start that journey. And if everyone's heart is not 100% in it, you probably should not do it. And I know couples who are in the middle of divorces right now because one person thought they could do it and they didn't, and then they ended up getting their heart broken because the other person in the couple thrived. And but that's not why my marriage broke up. My marriage was fine. And that's
So for a lot of people, Iman and Tiana's relationship, people don't understand ethical non-monogamy.
They do
So
not.
there was a lot of rumors and accusations of cheating, side chicks, even accusations that he was having a full-on second family, like not just having an open marital relationship, but that he was full-on playing stepdad to side
which is fine. If
people,
that's
which is
what-
fine if that's what's
What-
going on in your
what's
relationship.
going
But
on,
when she
right?
left, because she's another one, she filed for divorce November 2023. She's another one who left quietly, did not make a public statement. Well, actually,
Didn't
she did.
leave
She
while he
did.
was filming College
He was
Hill.
filming.
He was filming.
He was
College
filming
Hill.
a show. Yes,
Yeah,
he did. He was filming a
College
show.
Hill. She was like, he's gonna go home and take care of her problems.
Oh, she
Yep.
she left while he was at work?
she sure did.
Pretty much.
I had that
Yes, she
happen
did.
to me once.
Did you?
I had that happen to me once, yeah. I came home from work and she was gone, yeah.
Damn. Sorry, Travis.
And so the public statement, she actually wrote on her Instagram, "Not too much on my bestie." At the time, she was still referring to him as her bestie, and she has stated very clearly that infidelity was not the reason for their divorce.
Right.
But the divorce papers started getting into concepts of jealousy, not about sexual partners, but being jealous of fame and attention and success. Iman's NBA career, he retired. His acting career hasn't truly taken off. He had a podcast that pretty much went nowhere. And she basically said in her divorce papers that he started to, her term, treat her cruelly. And that to make things work, she found herself dimming her light. That she would often turn down jobs, turn down recording sessions, turn down movie and TV roles because he was not happy. But then at the same time, shortly after the birth of one of their children, he began to complain that she wasn't making any money. Because at the time, with him being in the NBA, he was absolutely making the money.
Right.
She even in the divorce petition stated that he was taking full advantage financially of their joint assets, that he took out $4 million out of a joint account without consulting her, that he left her with over $250,000 in house repairs on a home that they owned that he did not discuss with her before he started. And she just reached a point where she just had enough. And in response, he asked that the judge in their divorce award him all of the gifts he had purchased for her throughout their 10-year-long relationship. He wanted all to get everything I bought you. Jewelry, a condo, and the teddy bears. He wanted it all.
Not the teddy bears.
Girl. He said, remember that teddy bear I won for you at the state fair back in 1996? I want that too.
not the teddy bear that he won when he knocked down all the cans.
He knocked down all the pins. Yes. He wanted it all. And the judge wasn't having it. The judge basically
not.
No. So the judge basically awarded her a one-time lump sum payment, all of the marital property, and $8,000 a month in child support. Now, that seems like a lot, but given his income, that was already at the bare minimum, and he still applied to have that child support reduced. Her attorneys had to file paperwork showing that he had spent on average $14,000 a month on eating out, over $10,000 a month on purchasing lunches. I don't know where he's eating lunch. Like, buy a Chipotle bowl, bro. I don't know what you're eating. He spent $14,000 a month on his podcast, which went nowhere.
And just
what we could do with $14,000 a month.
Please tell me, what is he doing?
We could have
with a $14,000 a month
engineer and everything. We wouldn't even need Travis.
Damn.
Yes, child. But he still wanted his child. But he wanted his child support reduced. He wanted his child support reduced.
Wait, I see you said he asked for her royalties. What, from her
He
songs?
asked not just the songs that she made while they were married, but for royalties for recordings she made before they were a couple.
Get the fuck out of here. You know what, Iman Schubert, you ugly.
But that didn't even cause the crash out, girl. Like,
no,
the divorce was finalized.
Aaron,
he didn't get what
Pierre,
he Pierre.
That's Mufasa.
Now, I'm going to be
Aaron,
nice.
Pierre.
I'm going to be nice.
Mufasa.
If I was a man and my ex started dating Aaron Pierre, I might crash out too.
I might, but I would crash out at home with my friends and have them bring over some weed and some tequila because
Ben and
Travis,
Jerry's, that's what it is for.
Have you seen Aaron Pierre? Have you seen that fine specimen of a man? He is definitely a step up from Iman Schubert.
That man sound like Mufasa and look like Scar. Lord have mercy.
Yes, Aaron Pierre, that's Mufasa. Thank you, Jennifer Hudson, by the way, for all the little ditties that you do. For that gift. Because I sing it daily. Because I'm waiting.
That video was an hour long.
Yes, I'm waiting for Mufasa to come on the Disney Plus so I can just listen to Aaron Pierre be Mufasa. I'm sorry, we digress because every time
that's what happens when you talk about Aaron Pierre.
Every time
we digress.
I just would like to be a sandwich in between the two of them, and I would be happy. I just want to hang out with them. Like,
they are. I don't know if they have officially
I heard
announced that they are a couple.
I heard
they've been seen a couple times, but after the Oscars, it was
photo,
definitely looking like
there's a different one that you're not seeing that is way sexier.
There's a Mr. and Mrs. Smith in the remake, baby, yes, and it is stunning.
Smith, where they're
they are
their back
stunning.
Of each other.
They are a stunning couple. I love this for both of them.
I do. I mean, I'm not saying I would be like, oh shit, and then be in my feelings, because the picture, it evoked something in me, and I was like, damn, they're hot.
But
she's amazing.
In response, Iman has gone online, as they do now. Apparently, this is a thing, and he has said that he gonna cheat on you too, which is hilarious. And has also claimed that he's going to file for full custody of his kids.
Because she dating Mufasa?
That seems to be like a standard move where you fumble the mother of your children and then they move on because, you know, they're not supposed to move on. That's the thing. Once they have children with you, they're not supposed to
You know
ever
what? I can't. I
find
cannot.
happiness.
Okay, so I cannot. I cannot continue to I cannot. So this man is divorced from this woman, and
Yes.
he is mad. So this is more possessiveness, right?
Yes, it is.
This is more possessiveness of someone that you are not even with anymore because they have decided to move on. And I cannot. I really cannot. Like, you have one job, sir, and that job is to take care of your children and make sure that they grow up safely, loved, and just be there for your kids. Women are not possessions. You cannot possess us and own us. That's not. We're not living in 1755. Okay. I have a story real quick because we still got two more dumbass men to talk about, and I'm just gonna quickly say that Iman also wrote a diss track.
Oh my God, why?
Because he's crashing out. Like, this is what they do. They write diss tracks. Because I mean, Drake wrote a diss track, and I mean, it's just they don't understand that diss tracks are for beefs. Cause they're not. These women are not gonna respond to your diss tracks, dummies. So, and that's all I have to say about that. So,
Can I just say something?
Sure.
I look. Maybe I was brought up differently, whatever. I was raised by mostly women, okay, and it was part of my
what?
etiquette, education. I don't know, like the way my parents raised me, my mother raised me, my grandmother raised me. You would never speak as a man. It's like them teaching me how to become a man because I didn't have a positive male role model in my life. So they had to do the best job that they could with teaching me how to be a man. And one of the things they taught me is that you would never like speak out like that about a woman in public. Like,
Travis,
as just
that's
respect to
because-
women, as the kind of man that opens the door for women when they're coming, not because they have some agenda, but because they just see a woman and you open the door, and that's the way I was raised.
Travis
and excuse
opened
me if
all
that
the
offends you.
doors today.
Excuse me if that offends you. Do you mind if I carry your bags? Type shit.
Carried
You know,
all
like,
my bags.
like it's just
Not
Yeah.
these new men's.
Not
These
speak
new
to
men's.
men.
speak out publicly about a woman like that. Like, to what end does that bring you? Like, what
I
does that
don't
get you?
know how it makes you
What
feel
does it
better.
get you?
I don't know. I was just gonna tell a quick
They go
story.
on IG Live,
Right.
and then they write a diss track.
Right, real
That's what
quick.
they do.
I was not with someone that you know, and I'm
I
not,
know them?
You know them. We were broken up, okay? And I got pregnant by somebody else. And I called to tell them before anybody else called and told them, right? And I got called a fucking bitch and hung up on.
Child,
We weren't together. Like, why are you so angry that I'm a fucking bitch? Like,
Together.
that we weren't together. This baby was not his, and he was mad that I was like, and I asked him like some years later, like, why were you mad that you called me out of my name and then hung up on me? And he was just like, well, you know, like, you were mine. And I was like, but I was not. I'm not anybody's. Like, no. Like, I said I was already feeling awful about being pregnant anyway. And then you hung up on me. And so, like I said, like, you can't treat us like we're a possession. Like, that might be fun in some like play scenario maybe, but not like in the real world where I'm walking around as a human. Like, no.
I almost dated a guy and I say almost dated because we were like junior high, early high school, right? So we didn't really go on dates. It was
Right.
more like
Just like, you're my
hanging
boyfriend.
out on your stoop. I'm from Brooklyn. If y'all don't know, I'm from Brooklyn, and we hang out on the stoop. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And we used to hang out, and we only hung out like during the summers because I don't like the cold weather. And so I went and go see him from October to May. He would only see me after Memorial Day before Labor Day.
It was cold.
Because it was cold. It's too cold to be hanging out on your grandmother's stoop. And so that was our relationship from 8th grade to sophomore year of high school, right? And then go our separate ways, don't see each other, don't speak to each other. I move out of state. I'm a fully grown adult. I become pregnant with my son. I go to visit my family back home in Brooklyn. And at a family get-together, a barbecue, I see him. I'm 6 months pregnant. This boy came up to me, and the first thing he said was not, "Hi, how you doing?" The first thing he said to me was, that was supposed to be mine, right? Y'all should see the vet's face.
I can't. So here, yeah, no.
I can't put myself in a place where, as a human being, I would walk up to another human being and ever be that rude out of nowhere and like expect what is the next response that you're gonna get from after you say something like that. And it should be either a slap or a punch in the face or somebody just walking away. I don't know what you expect. What do you expect?
What?
I wish I was the first person or the last person to have been told that. But the number of girls that I grew up with that have heard that in some way, shape, or form.
Or when are you going
to
let me put a baby in you?
Oh, God, stop it.
Or,
Travis has the ick. Travis has the ick.
Ava, I can't imagine myself saying something like that to any woman ever. Like,
men are gross.
I know, and it's not the first time I'm hearing these things. It's just offending me right now, that
we're
like.
Sorry that our little
and it's
ditties,
not like I haven't done those things in my life. I definitely have.
Yeah,
I was a younger man at one point who treated women very badly, and I would like to think I learned a few things and made amends where I can with some of them that'll still speak to me. But I mean.
Yeah. I mean, we have another one, Travis. Are you ready?
Oh boy.
Because we're just gonna keep going.
We're going down the road. Yeah, because we have to talk about the beautiful Halle Bailey, our Little Mermaid.
Our Little Mermaid.
And DDG.
Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat?
So Halle is I know. So Halle is one part of Chloe X Halle, which is a group. They're sisters. They're stunning. They have lovely voices. And she does all the things. Like, she sings, she writes, she plays the guitar. Multi-talented, right?
That's why she was the mermaid.
Is also the Little Mermaid. And DDG is a rapper. Child, I don't know. Don't get me the diss track.
I know that much.
He did.
2 days ago.
Two days ago, he dropped a diss track. Now, what I know DDG from is having their baby on his Twitch streams.
Yeah, because I didn't even know who her baby daddy was until she had the baby, and I was like, oh, that's cute. Yeah,
and DDG. She heard the. Don't do it, girl. Don't do it. Like, that's going to ruin your career. That's going to ruin. And you know what? That was her man's, and she loved her man's. But their relationship ended about 6 months ago. And in 6 months, he has gone from, I don't want to be in another relationship unless it's with Halle, to constantly being on the streams with Twitch. All kinds of women. Which is fine because she, again, has not said a word about their relationship. She has been very hush-hush. Now, that could just be that, she's got to protect that Disney coin. Yeah. Fair. Yeah. But it could also be the fact that she's a grown woman and a mother and have other things going on.
And she has RSV.
And DDG, just a few days ago, went on his Twitch streams and crashed out. started off saying how they don't get along. We don't get along. We don't get along at all. Hallie and I don't get along at all. We have to talk through a third party. I just want to be a father to my son. It's all about being a father to his son. And according to him, he went to go visit his son at her house. He showed up at her house to see his son and was told that he couldn't see him, that he could not come in. And what he did not say at first was that the baby currently has RSV, which is a very serious respiratory infection. And Hallie also has RSV. So she is
Sick as
being a
dog.
mother, sick as a dog, and taking care of a sick baby. Now, I'm sure she has help, but she's still that boy's mama, and that's who he wants. And DDG is crashing out saying that she is keeping this baby from him. Now, we don't know the ins and outs of people's personal relationships, but what I will say is every time I see that little boy, his name is Halo, he's adorable. He looks like Hallie spit him out by herself. He is on DDG's Twitch stream
all the time.
He had that baby on a stream with Kai Cenat, who is a very famous streamer, and Kodak Black. And Kodak looked like he was on all the things.
Kodak always is on the things.
So, you're allowed to obviously take your child and hang out with your friends when you have your child if you're being a responsible parent. But why is this what you're choosing to do when you have your time with your child is my question.
I know why. The child gets views.
The child gets views. And the child gets views because that is Hallie's child, not his child. And so he went on to his whole Twitch stream saying she's keeping me from my son. He said that he shouldn't have to take this to court. He doesn't want to put his child through it. This baby is a year old. This baby is not going to know if you go to court and file for joint shared custody that would allow you set custody time. And that seems to be the problem because this man does not want set custody time because that would require that he adhere to a custody order.
Agreement,
what he wants is the ability to pull up at his ex's house anytime he wants to.
Yep.
And you don't get to do that. Unfortunately, this is what happens when you are in a co-parenting relationship and not a romantic relationship. It means that there are going to be times where you want to spend time with your child that you cannot because they're with the other parent. It means that you have to make arrangements. It means that you don't get to just, according to him, hang out with his son in the living room.
Right. He wanted to go over her house.
I know that the baby's sick. I wasn't trying to take him anywhere. I just wanted to hang out with him downstairs. Well, you just told us that you and this girl don't get along. Why would she want you hanging out in her living room while she up in the bed trying to get some rest because she's sick? We are not together, sir. You're going to have to wait until the baby is better and you can visit.
Nigga, please, go home. Leave me alone.
But in the middle of his Twitch stream where he cried about how he's not being allowed to be a father and how all he wants is to be a father, and this is only about him wanting to be a father, he debuted his new diss track.
Oh, my God.
Talking about, don't take my son, don't take my son. Now, I would play it, but I don't want to play it.
No.
But I will quote it where he said, don't take my son because he all I got. I'm just having fun. I don't love these thoughts.
Oh, my God. No.
Tell me that you gonna move on, but I know you not. I thought this was about your son, bruh. That don't sound like it's about your son.
Oh, my God. Travis, y'all,
that don't sound like this about your son.
I cannot wait for this to be on video. Travis is about to die in his hands. He really, I can't, we're putting Travis through this. We might have to stop. I don't even think we need to talk about Future Ciara because Travis, we're about to break him. We really are about to break him.
I don't really want to get into them either because that is so long ago. At this point, Baby Future is like 15.
Yeah.
But what is curious with the DDG situation is it reminds me of the Future Ciara Russell Wilson situation in that Future no longer has to say anything about Sierra.
Right, he doesn't.
The online minions,
online
do,
minions
it for
do it
him.
for him.
Every
I know
time they
about
that.
see
Yes.
Sierra happy, every time they see Russell Wilson with baby Future,
Who's
here
ain't a baby
come-
no more. But
I know, but here
right.
come the Future stands just attacking this woman as if the fact that she has Future's child means she was never entitled to move on, find love, find happiness,
be a Christian
and,
and
do
do
anything.
what does she want to do. And like it's just like we were gonna use Future and Ciara, like they're the example of the original Crash Out, right? Like they are the original couple, and then you see what happens even after they move on.
Years after. She has been with Russell Wilson now. It's been over 10 years.
Yes,
They have,
a
three
child-
children
They have
together?
3 children together,
And it
They
never
take their-
fails.
Take their little happy family pictures every year,
And if you see Russell Wilson with baby Future, immediately all you see in the comments, all you see on the Twitters, on the threads, on the Instagrams is, that's Future's son. You know that's Future's son.
That's Future's son. Why you acting like that's not Future's son? And like, so you don't even like. So we want to show like how the patterns we're gonna do. We wanted to use this as the way to show y'all. We're not doing the macro to like the big macro today, but that is the macro. It's like they were the original, the originators of this. Did Future write any diss tracks that we know of?
You know, I don't really listen.
Yeah, no, I don't.
But
I
what
mean,
I do
I don't
know
really
is-
care about diss tracks.
But what I do know is after DDG's little crash out, here come his minions. And they were all over Hallie's socials. And she had to make a video. She had to put out a video saying that her and the baby are both sick with RSV. And that the videos and the photos that they were seeing were being,
They were
uploaded by their
archived,
social
yeah.
media people, their older photos, because, it's her job. Social media
Yeah.
is part of her business. And she had to make a video saying like,
We're safe.
almost in defense of herself. Like, me and the baby are sick right now. And it's because people are attacking. And it's like, who is the people that are attacking? It is the people who are in the same situation. It's the people who were left by their fathers, but blame their mothers somehow. It's the people who aren't there for their own children. And so they have to believe, they have to buy into this, she won't let me see my son narrative. And they
That's
have to
been the
buy
narrative
into...
forever.
I know. And then they have to buy into this idea that because it's this weird thing where it's like, if you have a child with someone, somehow your value has been diminished as a person.
And if
Future
you-
has
even
8
if you
children with
marry-
8. Future has 8 children with 8 women.
Even if you marry them, like if you get married to somebody and then you get divorced, your value goes down.
Yeah.
Like I'm less of a woman, less of a whole woman because I had a baby with your son's nappy headed ass. Like, get the fuck out of here.
To be fair, though, it's kind of always been like
Oh, no,
that
that's
with
what we're
Always.
saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're
100%.
saying. Like, it's always been like
It's
that.
actually probably gotten a lot better than it used to be.
Oh
where
yeah,
we're-
well, I think in some circles, yes,
Yeah.
but especially with black women,
Yeah.
we're damaged goods
Yeah.
once we have a baby anyway. It don't matter
Yes.
if we were married. It don't matter if it
Nope.
was a baby mama situation.
Yeah.
It don't matter if we got gang raped.
Right.
Like, we are damaged goods once we have you. What did he say in The Color Purple? She been spoiled twice.
Yep. Who gonna want you?
Who gonna want you, right? And so, Travis, we are sorry that we made you cry in your hands because
I
of all
signed up
this.
for this shit.
the
Don't
foolishness.
apologize. I signed up for this shit. Like,
Travis is so good.
I'm not gonna make a
Yes.
diss track on y'all for putting me through all this.
Yeah.
Like as a man, I signed up for this. So like,
did.
whether it makes me cry or not, it's
Yeah.
my damn fault for being here.
So you all have to bear with us because we just are trying to figure out what we're going through. And I just want to say, let me just really run these off real quick. So there's the psychology behind all of this, right? And so we have to think about like attachment styles and relationship anxiety. Now, I know a little bit about anxiety, right? So like, Like Offset's jealousy and infidelity suggests an ancient, anxious, avoidant attachment style. So he wants to be close, but he acts out to create distance. I know that very well. And so that it causes this push-pull dynamic that fuels insecurity, which can lead to controlling behaviors. And we've, definitely talked about that, right? So as Cardi wants her independence, but she's gone back to him multiple times because that just, she's wounded, right? Like, and we stick with what we know. So toxic masculinity and power structures. Many of these men exhibit behaviors that align with toxic masculinity, which we're going to talk about a lot. Which because we just can't help it because our fucking society is fueled by it. Yes. And this teaches men to equate dominance with love and to fear vulnerability. So DDG and Halle Berry, I always call that girl Halle Berry. I'm so sorry.
Halle Bailey. I know, it's so
Halle
easy.
Bailey.
It's so easy.
Like his accusation that keeping their child from him ties into the common power struggles we see with co-parenting. This is the common thing that we hear with even in our like smaller communities. She won't let me see the baby. And I just be like, well, what did you do? Like, I'm like, it could just be anything little and like little for that, right? Like that denied access. It's often a form of emotional manipulation, and rather than a general concern about the co-parenting.
Right, because why have this conversation on Twitch? You should have this conversation in a lawyer's office.
In a lawyer's office, where are you trying to, if you really are not being able to see your child, that is, So my favorite discussion, and we talked about it earlier, is that like they frame their relation as open and progressive, but they're still having struggles with power. And so that can happen, right, when their mutual agreement is about openness, but men still want to set the rules. I liken it to women who enter an open relationship with a man, but they can't be open. And
you're talking about Tiana Taylor and Iman now, right?
Yes. And
yes,
then,
exactly.
Like showing that possessiveness isn't just about monogamy, but who gets to decide the terms of relationships. Again, open, non-monogamous relationships, everyone should be able to have a say in how that goes, not just the man. Ever. Ever. And then narcissism, ego, fear of losing control. Men who have never had control, they try to control the relationships in their life. It never goes well. And it plays into their narcissism. So like with Offset and Cardi B, Offset's repeated grand gestures, buying extravagant gifts, public apologies, but then the classic narcissism cycle: idolization, devaluation, and hovering. When Cardi asserts her independence, he panics because he doesn't want her to leave, and he just wants her to control and when and how she stays. Internalized racism, hypermasculinity complex. They all align with hypermasculinity. It's a survival response to systemic oppression. Black men, especially those from working class backgrounds, are often their worth is tied to dominance, success, and their control over women. And then when their partners challenge this by being independent, successful, or setting boundaries, it triggers insecurities. I would say that I married my husband, my soon-to-be ex-husband, is not black, and it happens to the pale faces too. So it's
100%.
not just black men. And I think that's an interesting thing that happened with Tiana Taylor, because she definitely, after Iman retired, was the dominant force in their relationship, and then also just her exhibiting, just being progressive and all that.
And let's be fair, that role shift can be really hard for people in a relationship.
Right.
When you transfer power, and I'm doing quotes like that, but when you transfer power in a relationship, when somebody goes from being the provider
Yep.
to, maybe and they're both well off,
Yeah.
it's but when somebody goes from being in a position of power to like less powerful,
Right.
sometimes they don't know how to deal with that, and if they don't,
Yeah, none of these people are
Yeah.
making minimum wage.
right,
But
right.
sometimes it's not even just about the financial success. With
Yeah.
Tiana Taylor and Iman in particular, he was very much the financial superior
Yeah, he
for
was.
much of that relationship,
Yeah. Right.
probably until the end. I don't know, the details, but the public profile, hers is much bigger.
Yeah.
She's a more
that's-
recognizable name
Yep.
and face.
Right. Nobody want to see his face. No way. No one wants to look at his face.
Yeah.
The role of white supremacy and rape culture. So at a macro level, these relationships exist within a society that rewards male dominance and then punishes us women for setting boundaries. So you have.
I think, just real quick, I think it's real important that, you talk about the role of white supremacy, because we did speak on, 4 couples that all happen to be black couples.
Right.
But they're just the 4 that are currently in the discussion.
In the spotlight. Yeah, we're just talking. Yeah.
But
yeah.
toxic masculinity is a hallmark of white supremacy. And so even though you're dealing with black men and black women, they're still being negatively affected by white supremacy within their
Relationships.
black relationships.
Right, yeah. So, like Cardi B takes Offset back. Who do they blame? Her, not him. When Ciara set boundaries with Future back in the day, they paint her as the bad guy. Haley Bailey was she stayed silent before all of this, and so she was seen as sneaky and manipulative rather than protecting her peace. This is all a part of like rape culture, where women are expected to endure the mistreatment, accept apologies, and cater to men's emotions. And even when those men have repeatedly violated their trust. And meanwhile, while white supremacy plays a role in how black men express masculinity, often forcing them to prove their power in relationships to compensate for societal disempowerment. We're gonna talk about how black men and black men and black women relate as it to when they date white women at some point, and that's a very interesting discussion because of how black men treat black women when their primary relationship is with a white woman. So and like how white supremacy and internalized racism play a role in that, and I think that'll be an interesting discussion. So as we wrap up, like, what can we learn from all of this?
Men be tripping.
Well, that. So these relationships aren't just about personal drama, even though we love personal drama. Like, me and Ava had a good time preparing this for Travis, just to look at his face. I wish y'all could see his face because
I don't love drama.
He does not. Travis does
not.
not
Love drama. I don't love relationship drama.
No, he doesn't.
I don't watch a lot of reality TV because I don't
like
it, and I feel gross looking through other people's windows.
Right.
Okay. The way that I grew up, this all feels like I'm looking through my neighbor's window.
Right.
And that makes me feel a little nasty.
And I don't want to see this either. Like, I'm not.
After your neighbors open the blinds and the windows
and
the doors
I know.
So you can see it and hear it, and they lit the lamps.
Yeah.
And then invited us all to sit on the lawn.
I saw this
absolutely.
video that whoever does her content, it was a little video of the Little Mermaid's son recognizing that his mother was in the movie, right? Like, me and her were talking about it.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Did you know?" And and I was like, "What?" He getting mad by an old video. The video was old. Like, he was like not.
Well, There's multiple videos of DDG playing his music for Little Halo, and that baby is stone faced. When I tell you that baby don't bop, he don't wiggle. That baby is his biggest op. That baby is like, stop playing this.
So,
Ain't nobody
like,
listening to this.
I'm like, so wait, he got mad over
nobody wanna hear
the
this.
old video being posted and saying, so I was so confused. And then that's why we got here for the little teaser.
Yeah.
So here's this. It says that possessiveness isn't just a personal trait. It's a symptom of deeper societal conditioning. Men struggle with losing control because they are taught that control equals love. Women, especially black women, are often punished for setting boundaries. God, I know that's true. Making it harder for them to leave toxic situations. On men behaving badly. We will keep unpacking how these behaviors show up in everyday life, not just in celebrity couples, but in our own communities. And of course, we'll laugh along the way, because sometimes this foolishness is just too fucking much.
And I'm gonna cry. You guys didn't laugh. I'm gonna cry.
Yeah.
Travis is gonna cry. Listen, you know, the reason why we like to watch the celebrities do the drama and have the crash outs is because we know these men.
Yeah.
Like,
We
yeah,
know
here's
these
the
men-
thing, like, Travis,
These men have sat on
exist.
your couch
Yes.
telling you she won't let me see my son.
Yeah, I
like
know.
you know that guy,
You know that guy.
right?
I do know.
You know that
guy.
guy.
A little too much.
So,
intimately.
How
And, like,
often? My question is always in those situations: how often do their boys
Yes.
tell them,
Shut
"Well,
the
did you
fuck
go to
up."
court? Well, did you go to court?" I feel very strongly about that. I am a girl whose parents split when I was 6 years old, you know, and my father went to court. My parents had like a very stable custody agreement up until I was about 10. And then my father filed for full custody of two daughters in the 90s, the early 90s. And he was single. My father did not remarry and show up with a new wife and say he wanted his children. He said he was
all
a
by himself.
single man who worked crazy overtime and said, I think I'm going to be the best parent for right now, and filed the paperwork. And it took almost 2 years. The debt, the loans he pulled out from his 401k, the borrowing to hire lawyers to make that happen. And I'm not here to, you know, extol the virtues of my father, because we got other issues. But the point is that that's what he did, because he was never going to allow himself to be relegated to the role of a secondhand parent. From the day they split, my father was like, okay, so I'll come get them on Friday and drop them off Sunday, and then I'll pick them up for school break, and I'll pick them up for summer, and I'll pick them up for Easter, and, you know, here's some money, and buy them some clothes. DDG is on Twitch talking about, I don't think we should have to go to court. I just bought him shoes. Bro, do you have money or not? Do you need some money? Ain't that the man?
can't.
Do you
I
need
can't.
some money? What are you talking about, sir?
Can we so not?
What are you talking about?
Men, we're coming for you, but we're gonna help you along the way.
We
And
want to. I
we
want to
wanna
help. I
Yeah,
want to help men.
but we're
If you
gonna laugh
truly
at you
feel,
first.
if you truly feel that you're in a situation and the mother of your children is making it difficult for you to be a parent, go to court. Stop being afraid of child support. Stop being afraid that they favor the mother. Statistically, that's not true.
Listen, you can
Just
go to court and not have to get child support put on you. Like, if you go to court, you're going for a custody agreement. You don't have to deal, you know, like, I know there are
No.
some states that are predatory and they automatically just throw a child support order in there. But no, if you're going
But
to, you going to family court.
You cannot file for custody if you are not actively supporting your child. So
Right.
the reality is, you know,
You just have
stop
to
being
prove-
afraid of child support.
Yeah, you have to prove that you're giving some sort of support. You don't have to have a child support
A
agreement.
custody order, you don't.
No, like,
Checks
it's
are
so
your
dumb.
friends. Like,
Right. Prove that
Do
you're
what's
paying
necessary.
something, and you'll be all right.
yeah.
We love you, Travis.
Oh, I love you too.
Yeah, thanks for being our resident dude.
Means.
Our men's.
Our resident means.
Our men's.
No problem.
It's a raining man. Psh, hallelujah. So this is the 9,000 hour men be behaving badly episode. that's brought to you by the airplanes that fly over Travis's apartment. We hope you enjoyed it. Did you enjoy yourself, Ava?
I had so much fun. I didn't get to be as much of a misandrist as I intended, but we have time for that in the future.
Yeah. So we'll be coming to you hopefully as much as we can, and pray for us and pray for Travis because his back hurts really bad.
I'll be
Pray for the means.
Pray for our mans. And we'll get you some socials soon, but you know where to follow all of us because we've told you 9,000 times. Ava and I are on TikTok. Travis will be on TikTok soon. I'm actually going to download it to his phone when we get done.
No.
And and then we're all on Facebook, but Ava's not on there a lot. But
we're on the threads.
We're on the threads. We're on the TikTok.
We're on the blue sky. We don't mess with the Twitters.
Yeah. Twitter was broken today. I don't know if it's fixed yet. Somebody hacked into it. Yeah, they got cyber attacked. Then Elon, you suck, and where I don't know, where have all the cowboys gone? And we hope you all have a good night. Everybody say bye. Ding ding
Bye.
ding ding ding.
Thank you.
Ain't got time for the game you play. Once a queen, I'm paving my way. Heartbreak, but I rise from the ash. Watch me dance while I'm making a splash. Ladies be women rising strong. Ladies be playing along. White chromosomes, so you so high. Cheating and scheming, they're behaving bad. Maybe behaving badly. Maybe behaving badly.